Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Igho and this is Love Igho. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make a basic bodice pattern based on your own measurement. So it's very important to have your own bodice pattern because you can manipulate it in different ways to get a lot of different types of outfits. Out of a basic bodice pattern, you can create other type of patterns for different styles, for different outfits if you want. So even though in today's tutorial, the idea is for you to create one based on your own measurement, the truth is you can just follow this tutorial and make a bodice pattern for anybody else. You can use it, you can make it for a friend, you can make it in different ways. So before we get into this tutorial, I just want to remind you to subscribe. If you like this video and you find it helpful, share it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get first dibs on all my YouTube contents. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's get straight into the tutorial. The first thing you're going to do is take some measurements. Right, for this tutorial, you're going to need to take your shoulder measurement, bust span measurement, which is the same as taking the measurement between your nipple and nipple. So from nipple to nipple, that's your bust span measurement. You're going to need your waist measurement. You're going to need your hip measurement as well. But that's as far as we're going to go. So let's get straight into it.
So start by folding your pattern paper into two because we'll be working on one half of the bodice. Note that this means most of the measurements we'll be using will be 1/4 of your total round measurement since you're folding the paper into two. Draw a starting line at the top which will serve as the shoulder line. Now go ahead and insert the vertical measurement starting from the bust point. So for me, my bust point measurement, which is typically the regular bust point measurement for most people, is 10.5. So I'm going to mark 10.5 inches away from the starting line. And then my waist point measurement, which will come after the bust point measurement, will be at 16 inches from the starting line. And then my waist to hip measurement, the distance between my waist and to hip measurement is 8 inches. And these are typical dimensions that you would expect, not for everybody, but for the average person. The bust point measurement of 10.5 inches, waist point measurement of 16 inches from the shoulder line, and a waist to hip measurement of 8 inches. So now we have the measurements. After putting in the measurements, just draw straight lines forward, marking those points. Then at the starting line, we will be putting in two standard measurements, the neck width and the shoulder length. The standard neck width measurement is about 3 inches, but take your own measurement just to be accurate. And then measure 8 inches, which is also a standard for the average woman. Now, since our shoulders are not straight, what we really need is a downward slope, right? After measuring the 8 inches, come down vertically by 1 inch and join that point to the neck width. That is now your new shoulder measurement. The next step is to determine your armhole measurement, which is also kind of your chest measurement, your upper bust measurement. And the formula is your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1. So my bust is about 35 inches. So I'm going to take that number, 35, divide by 6, and then add 1 inch to it. And that's going to give me around 7 inches, approximately 7 inches. I'm going to go down straight by 7 inches, and this is going to be my upper bust or chest line. So now go ahead and insert your bust, waist, and hip measurements. My bust is 35 inches divided by 4, and I'm going to get 8.75. Now for garment ease, just for ease of movement, because I usually don't like my outfits to be too tight. I usually add half an inch to my bust measurement to avoid making them uncomfortable. So take your actual and bust measurement, divide it by 4, and then add about half an inch to it for ease. And then let's move on to the waistline. So my waist is 28 inches divided by 4, that's 7. Now you can insert your waist measurement as it is if your pattern is to be used on like stretchy fabric. But as a general rule, when creating a basic bodice pattern, we'll be inserting 1-inch darts into the pattern. So if you're going to cut a pattern for use on stretchy fabric, there would be no need to add the 1-inch dart allowance into the waist. So at the waist, insert your waist measurements with an additional 1 inch. So here I'm inserting 8 inches since my waist measurement divided by 4 is 7. So 7 plus the extra 1 inch for dart, that's going to give me 8 inches. And then let's move on to the hip line. So my hip measurement is 38.5 inches. If you divide that by 4, I'll have about 9.625, so approximately 9.7. I'll also be adding about half an inch to this measurement for ease. So now after inserting your measurements, you can go ahead and join them together, first using a ruler. I like to use a ruler first and then smoothing out the curves at the waist or the hip part using a French curve or a pattern master. You can use whichever one you have. Alright, now let's work on the armhole. Now from this point, just determine the middle, then go in horizontally by about 3/4 of an inch, about 0.75 inch. This is also a standard number. So connect that point to the end of the shoulder line. Then connect the rest using a curve to get your front armhole. To get the back armhole, just connect the bust point straight to the back armhole line. So that's basically it for the armholes. After this, we're basically done with the pattern. The rest is just working on the neck of the pattern, and that really depends on your own preference and how deep or how not so deep you want your neck to be. So for me, I'm going to be going 4 inches by 4 inches. That's just basic, because then I can manipulate it anyhow I want later on to make it a V-neck or to make it a boat neck. But just to keep the pattern simple, I'm going to be going in 4 inches by 4 inches. Then join your neck points together to get your neck hole. Now it's time to insert the darts. For this, you need your bust pan measurements. That is, like I described earlier, your nipple to nipple measurement. So my bust pan is 9 inches. I'm going to divide that by 2, that's 4.5, then add half an inch, which is 5 inches. So mark 5 inches on the waist and bust point lines, then draw a straight line and measure half an inch on both sides of the 5-inch mark. And then measure half an inch on both sides of the 5 inches mark. From the bust point, just come down by 1 inches, and from the hip line, so from the bust point, come down by 1 inch, and from the hip line, come up by 2 inches, and just connect the dots, and basically you have your front darts. And that is it, guys. Just go ahead and cut out your pattern. So as you can see, I'll be cutting out the back pattern and I'll be tracing that out and then replicating the back pattern and measurements. The back darts are very similar. The only difference is that you start your darts 1 inch from the chest or the upper bust line and not the bust line like we did for the front darts. that is it, guys. I hope this was clear and easy to follow, and I hope it was helpful. If you like this tutorial and you would like to see me make more beginner stuff, just let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, don't forget to share it, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.